What's up, everybody? Welcome to Cape Coral, Florida. It's not even that late at night, but we're going to take a tour through Cape Coral and show you guys how this city has changed, probably for the worst. Cape Coral, a while back I made a video saying that it was the best city you could move to in Florida. And it was. And now Cape Coral is one of the fastest growing cities in the entire country. In fact, as far as new permits for new construction, it's got some of the highest new permits in the country. This whole area. So a lot of people bought homes here in Cape Coral. I put them onto it, and they probably made $100,000 a piece if they listened to me back then. But times are different. I made a video saying, top 10 best places to move to in Florida. And in that time frame, Cape Coral really was, back then, the best place you could have bought. And those people who bought did well. But times have changed quickly, man. Florida's a fast-changing place. And in today's video, we're going to take a drive around. We're going to talk about why Cape Coral is kind of, Cape Coral has just kind of faded away. And I don't see a lot of future here, and we're going to talk about that in this video.
Yeah, it's changed quickly for the worse.
Yeah, and that's typical for Florida. We've talked about that on our channel before.
A place that was great a year ago can get a whole different crowd because Florida is very transient. You can get a whole different crowd of people, and the crowd of people that come in might not be good.
So we're going to go for a drive, and we're going to talk about why I think Cape Coral is no longer as attractive as of an investment as it was in the past. This is just my personal opinion. This can just be my opinion, not really, just because I was right the first time doesn't mean I'm going to be right the second time. So let's be clear that this is just my opinion and nothing more than my opinion. In my opinion, Cape Coral, it's just kind of fading away. And one of the reasons is it's already built up. And what happens with Florida towns is once they already get built up, there's nowhere else to grow.
And they fade out.
And then you become a Hialeah. I feel like Cape Coral is almost like the Hialeah of the future.
Yeah.
And then what that means is it's going to have a high population density. It's going to have relatively low crime, I believe. But high population density. No income potential, and absolutely increasing cost endlessly. Now, Cape Coral is kind of wrapped around Fort Myers on the bottom and the Caloosahatchee River. It has nowhere to grow. And what the crap is going on inside that, man? What an ugly design. There's nowhere else for Cape Coral to grow. And there's a lot of ecologically sensitive areas around the boundaries. So they can't just put up an expressway. They can't just put up a highway around it. They can't put a beltway. They can't do anything. Because it's all environmentally sensitive mangrove areas. Caloosahatchee River on the south. Water on the west. And environmentally sensitive mangroves. Cape Coral has nowhere to grow.
On the other hand, Lehigh does.
And I know this sounds crazy. Cape Coral has always been better than Lehigh. This sounds crazy. I believe that in the future, there's more potential in Lehigh than there is in Cape Coral. And that's a change of position. Maybe if 3 years ago, something was a good investment, and now looking forward, it may no longer be an investment. Yeah. I think real estate in Cape Coral is going to cap out, and I don't think it's going to slump and go down. I do think it's either going to continue to slowly rise, but there's going to be a leveling off. If you look at Zillow information for South Florida, from Sarasota, Naples, Miami, all South Florida, between 2012 and 2016, real estate values in South Florida were flat. I house sold for $360,000 in 2012. That's what it sold for in 2016. Until 2016, it didn't really start to grow. When it started to grow, a bunch of problems came with it immediately. An increase in homelessness, just a bunch of problems came with that change. Problems that were never existed here before. So, what I'm telling you guys is, I wouldn't buy in Cape Coral.
Not at this time.
No. And I wouldn't buy in Cape Coral for a lot of reasons. First, it's, as you can see, every empty lot is just about filled out in most areas. Some outlying areas still have a lot of empty lots. And there's a lot of permits being pulled. What happens now is that a smaller percentage of the land is empty lots. And those empty lots are going to be appreciating in value because there's nowhere else to grow. And with that means that now you're paying more than before. Where in Lehigh, there's so much empty land left. There's no more empty land left anywhere. There's two places in Southwest Florida where there's land left. It's the Golden Gate Estates and Lehigh. Wait a second. Lehigh and the Golden Gate Estates are the two places in Southwest Florida where there's land left. That land that's left, Lehigh's more affordable. It's in Lee County, which has double the population of Fuller County. Lee County has a garbage incinerator, not a landfill. Lehigh Acres is unincorporated. The Golden Gate Estates are unincorporated, but I think the Golden Gate Estates could be incorporated much quicker than Lehigh, which means there's less restrictions, more ability for people to kind of do whatever they want. People are going to want more land. They're going to want more space. Cape Coral traffic, imagine if Cape Coral, that's late at night now, there's no traffic now, but imagine if the daytime traffic in Cape Coral were to increase by another 10 or 20%, which is what the building permit increase is right now. That doesn't mean overall. That's a smaller percentage of the total population. But just understand that there's only so much Cape Coral can grow. And there's no jobs here in Cape Coral. Jobs are either in Fort Myers or even Naples. Lehigh, there's been talk of a Collier to Polk County Expressway. If that happens, Lehigh will, and even LaBelle are going to have a far leap in potential appreciation, which means that Cape Coral is doomed. Essentially, it's reached its full potential. There's nowhere else to grow. There's nothing else that can happen. What are your thoughts, Katie?
Well, with what's left that's vacant of Cape Coral, if you have a lot that you want to build on, you may not be able to build on that lot.
It's the borrowing house.
Exactly.
Protected. Manatees.
Protected.
And then, the absolute worst thing that's happening in Cape Coral right now is the idiots that are moving here from other places. Now I travel all across America, and you go to a restaurant in Texas. What are they talking about? Their family, their barbecue, and they're gossiping about their niece or something, right?
Yeah.
You go to a restaurant in Kentucky. What are they talking about? Last week's hunting trip, blah blah blah. Go to Alabama. My cousins are getting married. Which one? The one's a brother and sister. Family event. Everybody, when you go across America, every conversation, we go to restaurants all over America. And everywhere you go, when you sit down at a restaurant, how's Jamie Bob doing? Well, he fell off a ladder. Or if you're in Alabama, well, he was going to marry his cousin, but she married her other cousin. You're going to have to grab a map. I have no idea where we're going. Grab a map on that. What street is this?
Palm Tree.
Wow, you're going to have to grab a map. I have no idea where we are.
We just freestyle.
Yeah, but we have to go to downtown Cape Coral. We just have to drive around residential neighborhoods. When you come to a restaurant in Cape Coral, is this a person walking down the street with a beer can? What's he walking?
Palm Tree will take you
left
to...
and right. Left? Look at this guy. He's walking. Is he walking down the road with a beer can? Is that what's going on here? A beer can? No, it's water. Okay, that was okay. Left?
You
the
good?
Other way. This way?
Yeah.
We're trying to get on Cape Coral downtown.
You went the other way. You're supposed to go the other way.
Okay. There's left and right. So I don't know if you knew that. So just pull your turn?
Yeah.
Alright. My turning radius really sucks on this truck, and my turn signal is hooked into my amplifier. And I got the subwoofers installed. I was like, just replace the entire amp off the vehicle with another amp. He's like, you sure you want to do that? I'm like, go ahead and do it, buddy. So now like my turn signals are like, just rattle the trunk. I turn my turn signal, the trunk rattle. So it's pretty uncomfortable. Well, anyways, like I was saying, all these things are going to indicate that Lehigh Acres, moving forward, has more potential than Cape Coral. And there's a lot of things that are going to really hold Cape Coral back. Like I said, the ecological aspect is that it's geographically has nowhere else to grow. Lehigh can grow in the LaBelle. It can grow in the Fort Myers shores. It can grow. Wow, there's so many empty lots. Is it right here? Is it right there?
Mm-hmm. That's perfect.
Yeah. I don't know which lane I'm supposed. Am I supposed to be in lane? You got to drive in one lane, right? You can't just drive on both.
Yeah, I mean, you have to like.
Right, eventually you have to pick a lane. You don't have to like off the bat pick a lane, right?
It's Cape Coral Parkway.
Cool. This will take us somewhere. It sounds important, doesn't it? Cape Coral. Well, what I really want to understand is geographically, there's nowhere else left for Cape Coral to grow, and they have a complicated permit process. But that's all whatever, subjective. What's really got this place in a bad predicament is the idiots that are moving here. Anywhere you go in America, you go to a restaurant, what are people talking about? Like, baby Jesus getting married. Oh, shit, kids look so proud. That's what America sounds like when you go to a restaurant. You go into a restaurant in Cape Coral, and this is people from New York. And they're like, well, you know, my ARA, and well, I'm from New York. You know, back in New York, I invested in the stock market. Like, I'm in a Cuban restaurant, and I swear to you, I almost feel like, didn't you feel like walking out?
Yeah.
Totally aggravating. These people, okay, I understand they have money, okay? But money doesn't make you smart, okay? In fact, money, it just emboldens your stupidity. I literally felt like walking. I was like, I'm trying to eat at a Cuban restaurant. And by the way, thank you for trying Cuban food, New Yorkers. When they opened a Cuban restaurant in the South, nobody would go to it. I appreciate you trying Cuban food. So I'm trying my Cuban food. And Cubans are loud. So I'm okay with that. Here's these New Yorkers. I'm from New York. Oh, I'm from New York too. And what part of New York are you from? Oh, I'm from North New Jersey. Oh, I'm from South New Jersey. Oh, it's not the same New Jersey. No, I'm from New York, New Jersey, you know? So they're all like, oh, and then the next one's like, there's like 5 or 6 of these New Yorkers talking at the top of their lungs about how they're from New York. And then they go into their investments. Here's loudmouth. Well, I just lost $150,000 on I don't know what the crap. Well, when Tesla hit 1,200, I knew it was time to sell. And the other New York, you know what they say about me? Sell and walk away. And you know what they say about April? Invest in Staples. And there's just all these stupid. They're trying to sound like they're intellectual. But if you're just trying to eat a freaking palomilla steak sandwich, they sound like a stupid. I think I busted a vein on my neck.
I think you busted one of mine.
Dude, like, did it bust finally? That vein on the side of my neck? Dude, it's gonna pop out, ain't it? I wonder if there's something wrong with my heart, my blood pressure or something.
I think we need to get you checked out.
Yeah, like I feel like I'm having a heart attack or like my hands twitching. Well, anyways, I'm trying to eat this dang sandwich. If I pass out, you can drive.
I think you're just like upset.
Yeah, so I'm trying to eat my steak sandwich, and you have these people that are trying to sound like they're intellectual.
Let's make it clear. He's trying to eat my steak sandwich.
Right. I'm trying to figure out how I can eat, because I didn't like. I was like trying to convince Katie that what I ordered was so much better than what she ordered, so we could trade plates, and it wasn't gonna happen. But that's a whole different story. You know? Why would you even bring that up? Anyways, that's beyond the point. She's worried about how I was trying to eat her meal. So I'm trying to eat my steak sandwich. I'm trying to eat Katie's. You're the one that ordered a steak sandwich. Oh, I was trying to eat your steak sandwich.
Yeah.
Dang, that's greedy. I just gotta sit back like, man, I was doing that.
Yeah.
I was trying to eat Katie's steak sandwich. I was looking at her steak sandwich the whole time. And I was eating what I was eating, but I was looking at what she was eating. Which I should have gone with the steak sandwich looking back now. I did try to go for it, but you don't let me.
Yeah.
It's like, you ordered the palomilla steak with the rice, now you're eating it. Like, alright. I need water. We have like cheese laying around.
I have stuff.
You have water? Water? Change, okay. Well, anyways, look at these people racing. They're going to get hurt, buddy! And that's another thing. They're trying to ban ATVs in Southwest Florida. I'm going to have to make a video on that. There's been so many losses, it's just insane. Like, even...
I think bikes are more dangerous.
Beyond any reasonable... Oh, let's talk about bikers. Today I was coming down Buckingham, and this lady... I gotta finish the first story before... She's on her bicycle down a one-lane highway. Very narrow, lots of trucks passing. She's got her headphones on. And, I'm not gonna drive fast. I'm trying to get the most I can out of this drive.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
If they're angry, they can pass me if they want to. They can just assume. I mean, I'm driving a grandpa truck, so they're gonna assume I'm driving a grandpa.
Yeah.
So, anyways, here I am trying to eat, and I feel like I'm just gonna grab my plate and throw it out the window and leave. Because there's New Yorkers. Well, I'm from New York. I'm from New York too. I invested in Tesla, and when I hit 1,200, I knew it was time to sell. And the other one, well, what they say about me, it won't sell and walk away. Well, you know what they say about April, buying, invest in Staple. You know what they say about June, invest in baboons. You know, they all got their little things that rhyme, and they're all stupid. They're trying the best they can to sound sophisticated. You know what the problem is? Sophisticated people don't do what this person's doing. Whatever that. It's a woman. Wow. Yeah. I'm in love. See, that's the type of hood rat crap you need to do to keep me around forever. Here's somebody else blasting music. This is how trashy this is. Like, every car, there's like 5 cars blasting music at this intersection. You can't even hear one because they're all overlapping each other. You can't even pick up one sound system. You see how trashy this is? Why are you hitting me? Hey, I'm just letting you know you're not trashy enough for me anymore. You were at first when I first met you, but you picked up some class, and it doesn't really. But there's so many people blasting music around us that I can't even figure out who's blasting.
I want to go to Walmart.
You're just trying to be trashy. Stop.
No, I actually want to go to the Walmart.
Whatever. Okay. I'm doing a video. Bad time to go shopping.
Yeah, I want to go to Walmart and buy fruit.
Bro. I'm doing a video about Cape Coral, okay?
Okay.
I'm ask this guy if I can borrow $1 before he asks me for $1. I just figure I'm sure he's gonna come up and ask us for $1.
No.
He will. This is partner. He'll come up and ask us for $1.
Mm-hmm.
He'll come up and he'll ask us for $1. Give him a minute. Huh? A lot of these people, like, they're in a drive-thru and it sounds like they're angry. They're like, give me a freaking hamburger. So somebody's just hanging out behind the gas station. That's typical Cape Coral trashiness.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like that when, it's gotten bad. I'm pretty sure I'm having a stroke or something. Anyways.
You need to calm down, love.
Right, so they're trying so hard to sound sophisticated.
And it don't.
And we eat at restaurants a lot.
Yeah.
Like we do. Like probably spend $70,000-$80,000 eating restaurants probably. I don't know.
I don't know.
One year we did the math and it was like $24,000 a year. We never did that math again. It's like, I don't even want to know how much we're spending.
I don't want to know. I'd rather.
Yeah, we eat out. But anywhere in America, when you go to a restaurant, the conversation usually centers around like family. Look at this, how trashy. There's like music blasting in all directions. How trashy. What a trashy town. Lehigh has class. Yeah. Let me tell you. Lehigh has class. So, alright guys, back to my is this a rant, right? They call it a rant?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's like, I eat out. Like, I know how people behave. These are not normal human beings. There's like some type of New York abnormality with them. Like, that's not how people communicate. It's like, you know when something's off. Like, you ever walk into a place like you get a gut feeling that something's wrong. These people gave me that like something's wrong gut feeling. Like, you don't walk into a restaurant with a bunch of people you don't know, start talking about how much you've lost in the stock market recently. You know, I don't know. It's just, you should just know it's wrong. That's how a guy in Alabama tried to explain racism to me. He's like, you should just know it's wrong to do that. You're not the same color. I was like, That's how people want to explain things when there's no reasonable explanation. They're just like, you should just know what's wrong. Downtown keeps going, right?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm just going in that lane when there's cars coming. Are there cars coming?
Yeah.
There's probably cars coming. We'll be alright. I got life insurance on you. So, people drive way too fast, you know? I'm taking my time. Oh yeah, there's still more downtown here. So, all I'm saying is, like, the conversation sounds so weird and strange and pathetic, you know? Like, they're trying so hard to mutually assess and kind of impose upon you that they're intellectual people and that they have, like, a notion of what investing and, like, who goes to a restaurant to, like,
scream at the top of your lungs about your investments?
Yeah. It's so trashy. Like, can you imagine us going to me and Kitty were actually talking about business, but we're like, yo, we made $20 million this year. Like, you know, you just keep that on the low, you know, like that trip.
No, we didn't.
That stuff we bought in Mexico is worth just. You're just talking. Like, I'm not gonna be like. Me and Kitty were actually talking about our business. We were. But we weren't screaming at the top of our lungs. I'm from Cuba. Oh man, I'm Cuban. Yeah, man, I invested in Cuban cigars. Man, you know what I mean? Like, that's just... Who does that? And these people... And this is every time we come to Cape Coral, this is what a restaurant in Cape Coral sounds like. And if you don't believe me, I almost felt like recording it because it was so pathetic.
I know.
I almost felt like... something told me it was wrong to do it, but deep inside I was like, oh my gosh, if I
should record this.
It was worth recording these people. They're like, well, I lost $150,000 in the stock markets, but I just held on. I was like, you know what? I got more money. It's just, we're going to be okay. But the thing is this. There are people who have money. They have money. They don't have any sense
of what to do with it.
They don't know what they're doing. And there's like thousands of people here that are like that. You know? And some of them will buy an empty lot. Some of them will buy a house. Some of them will invest in the stock market. Some of them will buy Pokemon cards. Like, who knows what the logic is behind these people? They all have a different theory on investing. This one's got a 504k. The next one's got a 305k. You know what I mean? The next one's got a 239k. Whatever they got going on, they all have a different theory. They all have a different concept of investing. And none of them, the only thing they have in common
is what they've lost.
I don't know how much they've lost recently. Is, you know, it's a trashy town when they need a don't drive drunk sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very common thing here in Cape Coral, DUIs. Like, I would never drive drunk. Like, you know, driving around all slow and just kind of like not picking a lane and stuff. Like, that is very trashy behavior. We would never do that.
Yeah, we're always
slurring your speech and stuff. I wouldn't do that. You know? Unless I had some type of medical crisis. Yeah, let's get into this lane. Oh, well, there's a car coming behind us.
Oh, boy.
What is his rush?
I know.
What is this? Salvadoran papuseria? What's my guess? What is it? What is it on?
El Mexican taco. Mexican food.
Smoke a joint. That's trashy. Smoke a joint store. How many times have we put in the gas stations today?
I don't know.
But they're like... What was your thoughts on those people? My thoughts were, if they didn't shut up about New York, New Jersey, 401k, my investment portfolios from New York.
I think if you're out to dinner, you shouldn't be screaming about that. Like,
it's so,
to them, it's fucking normal.
That might be normal to them. Like, that's just, that to them, going to a restaurant, talking to complete strangers about their investments. Like, can you imagine us going to a restaurant, like, yeah, man, we made $7,000 on YouTube this month, but we spent $5,000 of it traveling. And have a stranger be like, man, you should stop eating Starbucks every day in the morning. We do that on our YouTube channel.
I know, right?
But it's different.
Yeah.
We do that on our YouTube channel. So what's the difference between doing it on a YouTube? Is this a strip club or are they selling tile?
I think both.
It's like a tile like a tile strip club or something.
I can't.
I don't like a strip club in
this.
Tampa. There's people in there tonight.
Yeah, we're a strip club, but we also sell tile.
This is like the ghettoest looking. This road is out at night. Well, we're gonna run into something strange in this alley. I just know we will. Well, we do talk about it. We don't know. We would never talk about our personal, like.
We would never talk about what we
I'm
actually
like, oh, I'm gonna make
make
$10,000 on YouTube this month, and we spent $8,000 traveling, which means we didn't really make anything. You know, I wouldn't do that.
No.
There's something strange going on.
Yeah.
No, what I'd do, I'd squat that thing.
What's up, man? What's up?
You gotta squat that thing.
Squat that shit?
You gotta squat
Nah,
that.
man, that's like freaking white people, man.
What are you, Asian or something?
Yeah, man.
Asian guy with a big old truck. You need to get one of them little Nissan things, man.
Come on, man.
Y'all Pinoy? Y'all Pinoy?
Huh?
Y'all Pinoy?
I don't know what you're talking
Pinoy, like Filipino American. Where y'all from?
about. I'm Spanish.
Que hola, city!
Hola. Dímelo.
You speak Spanish?
Así.
Y'all killing. That's why y'all got them big trucks. Y'all making too much money. Y'all making too much money, man. Y'all don't know what to do with that. Squat that thing, man. Oh, man. That's some cool people, bro. There's a lot of Pinoys here. Anyways, what I'm saying is, like, I couldn't imagine, like, sitting in a restaurant with a bunch of strangers and being like, yeah, our investments. I'm glad they didn't ask us about our investments.
I know, right?
Like, what? You guys are from New York? What part of New York are you guys from? I'm like, oh, I'm from Hoboken. I can't even say it right. That's how it like blows my cover.
Yeah.
Like, I'm from West New York. Oh, you must be a Cuban. Like, guess what? You're at a Cuban restaurant, right? Oh, look at that. I put 1 and 2 together. That's how I lost $60,000 this month. Putting 1 and 2 together. Hey, they put Huang and 2 together right there. You didn't get it. You didn't get it. Huang and 2. 2 is a Vietnamese name.
Okay.
They give themselves short names because they think it gives them good luck. So you put Huang and 2 together. You get it? You didn't get it. You're dumb. Anyways, what? How do you like sit at a restaurant with a bunch of people you don't know? We're not gonna have time to talk about the Alabama love story.
Oh, we're not
gonna have time. What are your
We
thoughts?
can do 1 hour at Cape Coral.
1 hour Cape Coral. No, it's too much. We gotta stop it at 30 minutes. It means we got literally 2 minutes to wrap this up. We can't go more than 30 minutes on a rant.
45. Yeah.
I could do a 45-minute rant. I could.
Yeah, and then we can fit that in.
But we're gonna upload a 45-minute rant in Southwest Florida. We'd have to like drive to New York to get signal.
I know, right?
Oh, that's hilarious.
No, literally they drove less than 5 hours in total of what it actually takes to get to point A to point B.
Oh, right. Okay, you want to talk? You want to drop? No more thoughts on the New Yorkers? They're idiots. They're trying to portray like they know like the economy.
Yeah, that's been talked forever.
Okay.
Yeah, let's move on to another topic.
I like talking about New Yorkers.
I know.
There's some big trucks in Southwest Florida. Let me tell you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a normal Jeep, and that's like a monster Jeep
Yeah.
right there. Okay, so we're done with the New Yorkers and the investment.
Yeah.
The investment portfolio.
Yeah.
Cop pulling somebody over right there. Want to check it out?
No.
Oh, they're getting arrested. If they're outside the vehicle, somebody's getting arrested. Yeah, it might be us too.
Why?
For, I don't know, what am I doing? Like, what is this called? Driving under the...
You're not under the influence. You're driving fine.
You think I'm driving fine?
Yeah.
You need help.
No, you're
I'm not, like, I'm sober, but, like...
Do you want me to drive?
I'm good. I feel like, God, I made him por favor move. Nah, dude, I am 100% in my senses right now.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. I'll get off it. You gotta just, there you go.
What are you?
We're good. It's a big truck. Okay. So, tell me more about your life. We're done with the New Yorkers.
Can we talk about Alabama now?
The Alabama love story of the year. First of all, it's sad, and I knew this was going to end with her not living. Because it was pretty obvious. This guy's from New York, man. Oh, they got calling for help there.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see what we got here. There's just drunk people everywhere. It's Cape Coral.
Oh, no.
Let's just try slow. He got in trouble. He's gonna come for us. That cop's like, this guy's a jerk. He's like, you know what, man? I'm gonna let your son go. I'm gonna go after this idiot. He called the mom and was like, your son's not sober, and he's got some weed. This thing is so out of whack. All right, let's get out of here.
Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah, the Alabama.
The love story of the year. The romantic novel of the South.
We needed to
Go
stop.
with the wind.
Yeah. We needed to stop in Evansville, Indiana, less than 5 hours.
So they thought, like,
Yeah.
so they thought that if they made it to Evansville, Indiana, they were safe. Here's the problem. Evansville, Indiana is a 4-hour drive from Alabama.
Yeah, like 4.5 hours.
Yeah, well, they're in a police car, and they could have done it in like 3 hours. So
They ditched it in the town.
yeah, so
And then they ditched her car in Tennessee.
right.
And there was 2 other, like, car chases.
But let me just make this clear. They lived on the Tennessee-Alabama border. So making it to Tennessee is like us making it to like the corner gas station. Because
Yeah.
that town's right on the border. So
Yeah.
they make it as far as the border between Tennessee and Alabama. They thought, here's what the sheriff said. Like, sheriff's like, and this is Evansville, Indiana. He's more of a redneck than the people in Alabama. Like, if you thought the people in Alabama involved in this case were rednecks, you should see this guy from Indiana. He's like, well, they made it all the way to Evansville, Indiana. And apparently they thought that was far enough when they got away. It's like, no, you're supposed to make it to the Mexican border. I'm sure he threw off the agents. Like, wait, why were they going to Indiana? Isn't that what the guy that killed young Dolph did? That went to Indiana?
Something similar.
Yeah. Like, if you do something you're not supposed to, just go to Indiana.
Just go to Indiana.
Yeah.
You'll be fine in Indiana.
Yeah, you won't stand out. Yeah, okay, a 6-foot guy with a Confederate flag isn't going to stand out
yeah.
in Yankee territory. All right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's like Indiana hasn't been able to beat Alabama in a football game in decades. Believe me, they're looking for you, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, back home in Alabama, people are cheering them on. Like, yeah, man, they're going to make it to Mexico, man. They're going to be free. Everybody's sitting here like, they're going to make it to Mexico. Or they might go for Canada. Who on earth was like, they're going to go to Indiana?
I'm like, who gets their bearings in Evansville, Indiana?
Out of all places, like, we've never gone there. We've driven around there 5 times.
I know.
Like, when we go to Evansville, like, it's just not important enough.
It is not.
Actually, you know what there was in Evansville, Indiana that week? There was a, what was it, a mud show or something?
Monster truck rally.
A monster truck rally. So here they go. Here they go. They leave Alabama together. The love story of the year. By the way, if you are a woman and your husband's already whacked somebody, you're next.
Yeah.
Like, you were already like, if you're a woman and your man's got a body, you're next. So what was she thinking when she got in a car with somebody who's already done that? As dumb as she looks, like, it was like, did she not?
Instead, he was gonna like
You know,
hurt
they
other
need to
people if he
charge.
got out.
They need to charge him with her death.
Yep.
That's the way I think it is. He's already in the hole. He's already got one. But
There's no
but they
escaping
can put him
that.
against confinement for like 30 years or something. They'll still punish him.
Yeah.
He needs to be charged for what happened to her because he manipulated, intimidated. I don't know. Now, the staff that they get to work in these prisons, they're not the brightest goldfish in the tank, okay? I lived in rural Alabama, and a lot of my customers worked in prisons, and it doesn't take a lot to work at a prison. You just have to be like, you won't smuggle more than 3 phones in a week because you're making more than the warden. You know what I mean? Like, the warden's like, man, if you smuggle more than 3 phones a week, you make more money than me, we got a problem. Finding a nice way of saying this. The people that end up working in rural prisons are not the brightest people around. I lived in rural Alabama, and a lot of my customers worked in prisons, and they know how to hand select because they're inmates. They want you to be a mule of a person. So smart people don't abuse other people. Dumb people abuse other people. And if they're inmates, you want them to be treated like crap. you want some stupid hick and you give him a freaking baton and say, hey man, you own 100 black people now. Hold this stick. It's just like the 1800s. And it's like, man, I own 100 black people. You can bait them. They'll do whatever you want. You get to decide if they eat or not. And then that person gets a power trip. They're like, I finally got my slaves back. You know, and they get a power trip from, you know, those prison guards. They're very impressionable, dumb people. Like, you give them a baton and tell them that now they own 100 people. And they get a power trip off it, you know? They're not the brightest people. You couldn't do that to a smart person. A smart person would just be like, if you talk too loud or fart too much, you're gonna get beat up by all the other inmates. Like if you're a smart inmate, that's what you guard. You know, you'll put some order to that. But they don't want. They want to torture these people, and they do that in Alabama. They do it here in Florida as well. This is the way the American Correctional Facility works. Is they don't put a correctional facility in like the center of Miami, where like smart, educated people are gonna go work there. They put these things like in Stark, Florida, where they know they're gonna show up drunk and want to beat somebody, you know?
Yeah.
And so these prison people that they have working in these prisons, they're like, you know, power tripping. You know, I mean, like, I don't know, maybe as a woman, there's 100 guys there fighting for her, and this guy like stabbed 5 other people to get to her. You know, who knows? Maybe like their cousin. I love how like in the news they have to clarify that they're not related. You wouldn't have to do that anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like if Mr. Gonzalez and Mrs. Gonzalez from Florida did the same thing, the news would not have to clarify they're not related. But since it's Alabama, they have to be like, they're not related, surprisingly. Surprisingly, like I've literally heard somebody say, surprisingly, they're not related. Like all professional in a suit and stuff. Like the person's like, they're both named White. Are they related? I believe that's very common in Alabama. Like, no, in this case, they're not related. That's a very rare occurrence. I love how they have to clarify that they're not related. That is just beautiful. Mm-hmm. That is love right there. The Alabama love story. How did she not know that this was going to end with her losing her life? The guy's already whacked somebody. Like, when you get around somebody like that, what do you think's going to happen to you? We're definitely going to get put over for a TWI.
What?
I'm driving too slow. There's somebody tailgating us in that vehicle. I don't care.
No, you're fine.
No, they're fine. They're passing. Oh, look at the car behind us. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, here he comes. Here he comes. Let's see what he does now. That guy's definitely a DWI. Look at him. Here he goes speeding by. Watch this guy. Watch this guy.
Well, there's not.
Oh, look at, he almost hit the curb.
Well,
That car
I
right
think
there.
we're good.
That car right there is out of their mind. Well,
Yeah.
not the second one, the first one. Speed up a little bit. I want to see when they crash. Yeah, that's that's something about Cape Coral.
Yeah.
There's a lot of drunk people.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts other than I mean, I don't even know you. What are your thoughts on that? In Alabama, they're praising it. Like, they're like proud. They're like, I made it all the way to Indiana. We're like, everybody else is like, why didn't they at least make it to Texas on the way to Mexico? They had a head start and they got that far. So there's a lot of people getting pulled over, and the reason they're getting pulled over is just there's that many DUIs. Like, this city is the DUI capital of America. It really is. Like, you gotta be look at this one.
Oh my.
No headlights
no
on.
Headlights.
Yeah. These people are complete idiots driving. I would never drive bad. I mean, like, I drive like safe. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you think I'll make it to this?
Just stop.
I'll make it. Yeah. Okay. What are your thoughts? I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you.
What makes you think that, one, Indiana is a place to get your bearings, two, that you've gone far enough?
4 hours, guys. In 4 days, that's how bright they are. In 4 days, they managed to traverse an entire 4 hours of driving.
If I wanted to, I could make it from here to like Seattle.
There's days where me and Katie doing videos.
Cover over 600 miles.
We covered 600 miles doing 4 hours of video in the process.
Yep.
Okay. How do you, two people that are desperate in a life-threatening situation, only managed to drive 4 hours in 5 days.
I know.
It took them 4 days to get to Evansville, Indiana. And then they thought they made it. Like, man, we're in Evansville, Indiana. Let's go to that mud truck show they were having that weekend.
Oh my gosh.
I went out. They went to the mud truck show. There's like 100,000 other people from Alabama. Like, man, you guys look like that couple on the news. Like, yeah, we sure do. We even got the same tattoo. Man, that's a kadink right there. It sure is. So, the other perplexing thing is how much of a redneck that cop was. That, like, because they're like, the news reporter's like, she's from out of town. It's like, is it a rare thing for you guys to have to track down a fugitive that's a wanted inmate that escaped? Cop's like, we do this crap all the time. We want the people of Alabama to know we're not Mexico. He's literally like, because the news reporter's like, is this a rare thing for you guys to do this? How rare is this? The cop's like, oh no, ma'am, this happens all the time. These dumb idiots from Alabama come over here and they think we're Mexico or something. He's like that. He's like, no, ma'am, this is not on rare occasion at all. In fact, we get shot at, they shoot at us, we shoot at them. Crap, the other day we shot at each other. It's a normal, absolute. And you can tell the news reporters, like, they're from New York City, and they're like, or Washington, they're like totally shocked. Like, they're like, oh, like, you can hear them gasping for air. He's like, this is a completely normal thing. Like, no, we've had enough, sir. Like, no, let me finish my story. Just like 2 days ago, Billy got shot in the leg. Show him, Billy.
I know, right?
It's like, this
It's
cop
like, oh
was more
my God.
hillbilly than anything
Yeah.
I've ever seen. Like, the cops, like, the New York, like, the press people from New York, they're, like, terrified. They're like, sir, we've heard enough. Like, no, look at him. He got shot right there the other day. Billy got shot. Man, I got shot the other day. I stabbed an inmate the other day. I didn't want to use my pistol. I get him my civil every day right there. Like, what caught me off guard was how, like, unapologetic and just uncouth this sheriff was. He was like, this guy's living the wild. This sheriff in Indiana is living the wild life, man. He's like scaring the news reporters. Are like, oh no, we do this all the time. We get stabbed, shot. I don't understand why y'all came all the way from New York City. This happens like every damn weekend. People from Alabama make it up here and they think they're free now. They think we're Mexico or something. What on earth is going on? Like, what on earth is going on in Alabama?
What are they teaching them in schools? Like, oh yeah, you're no longer in the Confederacy. You're free.
Well, they teach them in Alabama. They actually, you know what they teach? Civil War, you know what they call it?
Northern aggression.
The Northern aggression. I figured that out in Alabama. Like, Jose, you didn't learn about the Northern aggression. I was like, you mean the Civil War? He's like, well, some people call it that up north. Well, we call it the Northern aggression. I'm like, son, Northern people are not aggressives. Northern people are not at all aggressive. How do you even come up with Northern aggression? They actually teach it that way.
Yeah, and that's a scary part.
That's what's scary. They actually teach it that way. They teach us a Northern aggression. Well, what's crazy about that whole situation is like this cop from Alabama, this sheriff, is completely unaware of what he's saying. He's like, they're like, this is a rare occasion, sir. He's like, oh no, we shoot people all the time. You can look it up if you don't believe me. They're like, we don't believe in all this. They're like, you know, you're not supposed to have police shootings. Like, that's why we've been stabbing people. He's like, we try not to, but it happens all the time. He's like, oh, it's no secret around here. Like the New York press people, like they thought they had the story of the year. He's like, no, you guys don't have the story of the year. This is like on a weekly basis. These hicks from Alabama end up here, and they think they're in Mexico. And then, what was the next part where the whole thing, like the sheriff was like, he's like, what baffled me and my investigators is how they thought they were home free in Indiana. Like, we were like, sir, no, you're not even to Canada yet. You just drove for 4 hours. He's like, our investigators were perplexed at how long it took them to cover a 4-hour drive. It took them 4 days, 3 different vehicles. We are perplexed. And then here's what he didn't understand. He's scratching his head too. He's like, they're supposed to have $89,000. They apparently spent $70,000 to traverse 290 miles. How many miles is it? I can't remember the miles, but it's a 4-hour drive, so maybe. I don't know.
It was 4.5 hours.
Yeah. He's like, our investigators were perplexed at how much money they spent. Like, they spent like $60,000 going across 2 state lines because. And here's what you don't understand. Tennessee is really skinny and long. In Kentucky, in the western part, is skinny and long. Mm-hmm. So they were crossing the skinny and long part of 2 states. So in other words, like they could have been an hour and a half in each state at most if they really want to get out of there.
Yeah.
You know? This is where we stayed at when we were...
Yeah.
This gas station is interesting. That Cuban restaurant. It's right here, ain't it? There's a good scene at that Cuban restaurant, the bakery. But, well, it's like, he was like perplexed. He's like, our investigators couldn't piece together how they spent $60,000 just trying to get across 2 state lines. Keep in mind, these state lines are about 100 miles apiece. They're not like...
They're not
He's like, our investigators... Go to like, we're on GPS that Cuban restaurant. It's 2 blocks back, right? I think it's back that way, right? Cuban, is it forward or backward? I think it's back. No, it's back. In back, I think. I think 2 blocks back. He was like, we don't understand why it took them so long, why they needed so many vehicles, and how they managed to spend $60,000 just going across 2 short state lines. We're just, at this point, we have more questions than answers.
How?
They're like, do you have any information about what their plans were? Like, there were no plans. That was it. They were here. They made it. He's like, no, ma'am, you don't understand. They made it. These guys are going to race. There's no doubt these guys aren't going to race.
How do you make it?
These guys, oh yeah, this is definitely going to turn into a race. Look at the cars that are lined up here. Come on, guy, get behind. Go. Yep, there they go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a 6.0 on it. We're street racing. Okay, we can't go faster than 50. Here we go. They're actually street racing. Wow. It's sad that with a pickup truck, I actually...
Yeah.
Like, you smell the oil?
Yeah.
That's illegal. You can go to jail for that.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. GPS, you can smell the burnt oil.
It's like right around here.
You smell the burnt oil? Those aren't real cars. They're like piece of craps. They're like burning oil.
I know.
Unbelievable.
It's like loop-de-loop type thing.
Yeah. There's good signal. Actually, let's find a bigger business that's probably not well lit.
Yeah.
If is there a Walmart or something around here that's got a big parking lot? Like, there's good signal in this little area. Although I do know a specific spot where there's signal, but it's probably creepy to park there at night. I need a water. See if there's a gas station or something.
There's a McDonald's up ahead.
Yeah, they might have Wi-Fi. Let's try Walgreens. They're open to 11 or 12.
The Walgreens, they're close.
Mm-hmm.
But the McDonald's is open.
Okay. They have a bottled water, right?
Yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, guys, they're still racing. Look at them.
Yeah.
Bunch of idiots. At the end of the day, we'll talk more on that story. It's very unfortunate that that's how it ended.
Yeah.
And I almost knew. I knew for some. I was like, "There's no way this girl."
I
thought he was
too,
gonna. I thought he was gonna do it to her.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was gonna do it to her. Really, I did because I thought he was gonna be the one that did. I do believe that he needs to be held accountable for what happened to her. Because if you're, at least in Florida, if you're committing a felony while somebody passes, you're legally responsible. You know that?
Mm-hmm.
Like let's say those guys are racing, right? And if they're committing a felony while they're racing and somebody gets hurt, they'll be liable for it. It's a law in Florida. And I don't know what the laws are in Alabama. Probably in Alabama you get paid for it or something. But anyways, I think he needs to get charged with her. He's already in a world of trouble, but there's a cop right here. Is that a cop or is just another street racer? It's a street racer. They're racing.
They're racing.
Yeah, they're racing. So this car's parked on the sidelines. That's because they're racing.
Yeah.
So as you can see, there's street racing going on a weekday. It's not a weekend. On a weekday, there's street racing going on. Lots of DUIs. Cops checking for DUIs.
There's that McDonald's and there's a gas station.
This is trash. This guy's parked right here too. A truck or a car? Where's the gas station?
Right there.
Oh yeah, let's go to the gas station. Oh, this car behind us is gonna let us. What an idiot. Okay, he's in a rush. Oh, you're in a rush now. Oh yeah, you made
Yeah,
it.
there's really good signal.
Yeah, there's good signal. We'll probably stop at that. One of the few places in South Florida where you can get signal. So anyways, after an hour of driving around Cape Coral at night, you can see there's street racing on a weekday night. It's really I do believe Lehigh has a better investment potential, and there's been talks, and I don't know if this is true or not. I've heard people mention they're going to build a downtown Lehigh or a commercial complex. If any of that stuff takes place, Lehigh is definitely more
And guess what they're putting into Lehigh?
Finally getting a Starbucks.
Finally Starbucks.
I need a water so bad.
Well, I got you.
What is that, a blunt? Oh, why would you roll up the money like that? I was like, I didn't know we did that.
You know.
Okay, because you rolled it up like a blunt. Go in there, give me water. I can't even move. That's a jerk move to make a woman go to the gas station, I think. Well, you know what? Vicky set the standard from now on. You need a woman that would risk her life savings, sell her house. Think about this, Katie. Before you walk into that gas station, think about this. Vicky risked her job, her life savings. Yeah. This woman set the standard for trashiness now. Like, what people don't understand, Vicky... Oh, music playing. So, Vicky, here's what she did. She got him out of jail. I don't think Katie would do that for me. She's too much of a law-abiding citizen. Okay? She drove 4 hours to Evansville for the guy, risked her job, sold her house. That is the new standard for women. Women, if you want a man, you got to be willing to sell your house, risk your freedom, risk your job, risk your retirement, and go on a high-speed chase. You know, that's what you need to do as a woman in the year 2022. If you want a man, and he's in prison. I got a truck, so I mean that puts me in a whole. I'm in a whole different ball game. I got a YouTube channel, so I mean a woman's got to work for a man. A woman's got to work for a man. I'm 100% positive that a woman needs to understand what time it is. It's time for women to recognize the value of a good man. She saw potential and she went with it, you know. And it's very important for women to understand the value of a man and how far you got to go as a woman to make sure that you secure a good man. You got to be willing to, risk your job, sell your house to buy him a truck or 2 or 3. He's a Ford guy. He should have got a Chevy. That's where he messed up. Where this guy messed up is that he bought a Ford. If he'd got a Chevy, they'd be in Kentucky. Well, Kentucky's the other way. They didn't seem like they had a good... You know what I think? They should have bought a Chevy truck. If they'd have bought a Chevy, they'd have made it. I don't know where they would have. The problem is they thought they made it already. But sadly, guys, as pathetic as that story is, it just goes to show...
Evansville and Indiana, the end point of...
No, it goes to show how simple-minded.
Yeah.
Like these people in Alabama, they've never left where they're from. They work out of prison. Like to them, like they really thought they made it to Evansville, Indiana. Like
it's like
that just goes to show.
They thought they were in a different country.
Yeah, like they really like people in these rural parts of Alabama. That's as much as their mind can handle. Like that right there may seem like, like it might seem like and you know what's funny is that here's a sheriff in Alabama. Here's so you understand the difference. Put your hand on you to the mirror, man. The sheriff in Alabama was like, they're complete geniuses. They devised an escape plan that worked. That's the way the guy in Alabama described them. Right? Remember the sheriff in Alabama?
How did
He
that
was
work?
praising them. He was like, they devised an escape plan that worked. They were geniuses. Here's the guy in Indiana. These idiots thought they were in a different country. We're out, guys.